And we are live. We are back after a little vacation hiatus. Not only back, we're back in the new digs.
Yep. First show from the new location.
Denise now Lamega saying, okay, it's on. A little late, little 5 minute late, but that's how we roll.
Getting to some new adjustments in the new
adjustments. By the way,
set everything up again.
Breaking news! Happy anniversary!
Oh yes. That's how we're celebrating.
That's how we're celebrating. We're doing an all-in only for Coach Sheridan. So the new place, first show. What do we got going on tonight?
Today we are welcoming, as you mentioned, for Coach Sheridan, legendary coaching icon Mike Sheridan of St. Mary High School football. So I'll go through his many accolades once we officially welcome him in, but that's who we will be chatting with this evening about his 31 years as coach and all he did for the St. Mary football program. Really quickly, I do want to give a shout out to our recently acquired interns.
Yes.
We have Rachel, Olivia, and Daniel will be joining us. Rachel's already done some great work for us on our social media, so we're looking forward. Thank you for them for joining us. Welcome to the team, and we're looking forward to working with them.
Okay, we are ready to roll. So let's bring in the special guest.
Okay.
While we bring in the special guest, I'm going to run a quick promo from one of our sponsors, Gym Guys.
Just got done doing flat bench, 6 reps of 185
Hi, Coach. Can you hear us okay?
First time in my life I've ever done it. I had to
Perfect.
Get some spot
Good. When
it's all good. I want to say thank you to Gym Guys, specifically to Leroy Huggins, to Ryan, to Giovanna, for helping me out over the last 3 months get to this point. If you're considering personal trainers, Gym Guys is the way to go. They are awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. My privilege to be on the show. Thank you very much.
Allow me to introduce and embarrass you in front of our audience with all of your accolades that you have. Coach Sheridan joined us. He was the coach at St. Mary High School football for 31 seasons. The Gales experienced much success under Coach Sheridan when he was at the helm. He had 202 career wins, 12 league titles, 22 straight playoff appearances, 11 state championship games, and 1 state title in 2006 in the North Public Group 1 division. Coach Sheridan is actually a graduate of St. Mary's, the class of 1977, and he was a 1994 Hall of Fame inductee there, and he is also a 2019 NJSCA Hall of Fame inductee as well. So, Coach, we are honored and privileged to have you join us tonight. Welcome again.
Love to be here. Good to reminisce and go back and pay homage to those years and all the great people that I was surrounded by and great players that played for me and coaches that coached with me. So thank you.
Coach, I want to say first before we get into the interview, it was an honor and a pleasure to work under you for, probably 7-8 years. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be an offensive coordinator. And just so you know, Coach, this is probably only for you because tonight's our anniversary. And when we scheduled it, I said, I'm not canceling it now. We picked the 17th, so only for Coach Sheridan on our anniversary, we're doing an all-in interview. So I got to wear my wedding ring tonight, but Coach, I also got the 2006 state championship ring on tonight.
There you go.
So again, an honor and a pleasure to work under you. Awesome times, fun, winning, and just a tremendous time. So I'll start real quick. We'll go a little way back, but what made you go to St. Mary's? If you want to talk about, going into high school, you come out of your grammar school. What was in your decision for you to go to St. Mary's High School in Rutherford?
I don't think there was any choices in the matter. Behind me is the first graduating class. I don't know if you can see that, but that was my dad's brother was in the first graduating class James Sheridan. And my dad was in the third graduating class, 1935. So, I'm the last of 8 children. Had Bill and Coach Sheridan said, you're going to Catholic school and you're going down there and you're going to get a great education. And that's the way we were brought up, Irish Catholic. And that's a lot of, let me just say this, we were many of great families going through St. Mary's with 6 and 8 children in the school system back then. So we were right at home.
Coach, we got a comment from our good friend Kenny Kirkpatrick. He's actually down in Maryland. He's saying, welcome, Coach Sheridan.
Wow.
And we have a Denise Lamega checking, watching tonight. So she just wanted to make sure. She was a little worried because we were starting a couple minutes after 8, but that's how we roll here. So she's checking in.
Oh, nice. Very
go.
nice.
Coach, here's a blast for the past for you. Coach Siciliano is saying, hey, Coach, hope you're well. Great coaching with you in 2004 and Coach Jones. 2 great people.
Wow. Coach Sis.
So,
A lot of great times there, boy.
right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's a character in the head.
Oh, yeah. That's an understatement.
It was just another example of what made the chemistry so much fun. I mean, we worked our tails off, but having so much fun and then getting on each other some and hitting one another was always it was great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like that.
So, Coach, as Kurt mentioned, you yourself attended St. Mary's High School. Strong tradition within your family to attend there. And then you are part of a 1976 undefeated championship team. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
And
OBLs.
And, again, so I'm sure that instilled in you that sense of pride for the program. Your high school accolades earn you a scholarship to play collegiately. So could you tell us about, your time at BC and ultimately Maryland, and then how the opportunity to come back to St. Mary's actually in a coaching role came about?
Sure. I was privileged to play with some great under some great coaches here at St. Mary's, and across the board too. Remember back then we all played 2-3 sports. I had Coach Waddick in basketball and Coach Bartlett, who won 2 state championships on the football fields. They're great coaches, great staffs. We're still friends today. They still come to the beef steak. So it was something that just we grew up together. It was a tight class. We still are tight. And we were pretty good, I guess you would say. We won the junior league title, so it was a buzz in town. Then we went undefeated as freshmen. So we were kind of like under this, feeling like we were going to be champs and no one was going to beat us. So that we lost some tough games leading up to that season. The year before, we lost to Pope John of Sparta. We had on ball on the 2-yard line when the clock ran out. I mean, it was just down 6 points. So our whole senior year was dedicated toward getting back to that game. And so my classmates, teammates, school was just so excited. It seems like it was yesterday. As far as moving on to the college level, I'm the last of 4 boys in the family. My dad's a Notre Dame scholarship football player out of St. Mary's. My oldest brother followed him to Notre Dame and captained the 64 team. Brother Farrell went on to Minnesota. Brother Jim went on to Boston College, where I followed. Boston College. So it was something that it was a great accomplishment, but I couldn't have done it without coaches and teammates, really.
I'm going to get caught up on a couple of comments because the comments are rolling in, Coach. We're getting a hello from our great friend Ricky down in
nice. Hey, Ricky.
Brooklyn, New York. Coach Breslin I know Coach Breslin, obviously coached with him at Ramapo, but you're going to know Coach Breslin because he was on the Becton staff. So I know you guys had some big time rivals. He's saying, welcome back. Looking forward to a great show with Coach Sheridan. Our friend Kenny again saying, I heard a lot about you, Coach Sheridan. Congrats on a great career. And listen to this. By the way, my dad, a proud graduate of the class of 55 from St. Mary's. So I never knew that. Grew up a great friend with Kenny. And he told me last time, I was like, get out of here. And he said, yeah, he went to
cool.
St. Mary's. Got a comment from a Jack Kakalewski. I don't want to say the name wrong. Michael, great player and great coach. Another comment coming in from our guys at Fast, Strength, and Speed, Paulie and Ryan, saying one of the best to ever do it. Our good friend Kevin Verilli, what's up? Always heard nothing but good things about Coach Sheridan. And Coach Breslin's coming back saying, great fun battles from my coaching time at Becton with Coach Malazzo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Coach Malazzo.
So,
Wow.
Coach, you're racking up the comments. Love it. Love it. So you are in college or graduate from college, and how did the opportunity to come back in a coaching role at St. Mary's come to be?
Very interesting. You know what? I'm going to say this because I think it's a big part of what made me as I was as a coach. Heavily recruited out of high school as a player, and you know, all great things were about to happen, and then sustained a back injury and really could never get my college career going. It was a huge disappointment dealing with that, and I think it made me, you know, a better person and a better coach to look at what, you know, it's just not all about the W's. You know, it's about developing kids who are struggling with things. And you know, I just had a good feel for if a kid was struggling because I went through it. I went through the struggle and the disappointment. And this game teaches you, you know, there's some tough losses that you got to deal with, and then some great wins. So what happened was I came back from college with that disappointment, but my classmate and teammate, Jerry Nealon, was coaching basketball here at St. Mary's. And he gave me a call and said, we want to get football started again here. They had stopped the program the year before because of low numbers and wanted to get it going again. And he asked me if I would be interested. So I came down and met with him and Mary Lanny, our great principal, and we got after it.
So you say you get after it. That's a great. Listen, we have a shirt that says "Get After It." I know that. But the first couple years, can you just explain about them? Like you're saying that you know you brought the program back. So what was it a struggle for those first couple years for you, the program, the kids? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely, Kurt. I mean, I look back on it, and that transition. Just because you're a great player or a good player and all that stuff doesn't make you a great coach. You know, there's coaching and there's playing, and sure, those playing experiences do help. In certain situations, but there's a whole nother world to coaching that I was just totally in the dark with. So I gathered my old classmates and teammates, and we started, hitting the hallways and getting the numbers up. That was the first thing. And we played JV our first year, and we did well. We had some good players. I was thinking about this today. We had some real good players. They would play for our good teams, Kurt, some of those guys. We just didn't have enough. We had guys that we got out of the hallways that, trusted us and said, I'll give it a shot. I never played football before. I'll give it a shot. And then we had the other end of the spectrum there. These guys are really good. Eric Miller was our quarterback. He would have played on a lot of good teams. I don't want to forget anybody, but we had a lineman in Darryl Bagnulo and Pete Tuzio, Larry Straub, who's deceased now, but we had some good players. And just like I said, it was just going to be a matter of time to get enough of them, or get the other guys experienced enough to get to that varsity level. That was another transition, because now you got to get, playing JV was nice. We were winning our share of 3, 4, 5 games and thinking, hey, we can do this. But then you get out there against the older guys, the varsity guys, and it was 2 years of going over before we got our first varsity win. So yeah, it was tough.
So what would you attribute maybe like the turning point to, when things really started to kind of turn around for you guys?
Well, it can be summed up with one person's name, Jack Jones. I'll never forget the day. And I was called to the office to say, the phone rang in the classroom. I was teaching first aid, and it was Jack Jones is on the other end. And Jack he's a Hall of Fame coach, as we all know, from DePaul High School, Clifton High School, and he's a St. Mary's graduate. So Jack gave me a call and said, how would you like an old coach and about 15 players? Because all the 6 in Clifton, where he was coaching at the time, had unfortunately announced they were going to close. So with one phone call, we got the other 15 that we really needed, and a great coaching staff with Jack, and Jack Purcell was his line coach, Brian Smith, a young coach that now is at Clifton High School, and we just took off from there. Immediately, right then, that first year, we knocked off some of the big guys in the league, and it was a whole new ball game.
Nice, very nice. Well,
Talking about Coach Jones, and again, I was very lucky to know Coach Jones through you coming down. When I joined the staff, he would always come down, get up on the board, and I remember you always saying, whatever that guy says, make sure you watch what he's putting on that board, because he's a master, and he really was a master. But if you could talk a little bit about him, what did he mean to you? How did he help you? Not just by bringing the kids, but what did you learn from him as a coach, bringing him on your staff?
That's where I really became a coach. Just to watch him and listen to him, it was just amazing. I mean, the man had coached on the college level at Columbia University, with Jim Garrett, Rutherford resident and Hall of Famer, and NFL coach. But Jeff just had a knowledge of the game that was it was absolutely amazing to watch him draw and dissect plays, and then the work ethic of watching film. I'll never forget the lesson he taught me. He said, go out and get a case of beer every Monday and make sure that there's a case of beer in that refrigerator, because we're going to keep that staffed till 11 o'clock, 10, 12 o'clock. I watching film and breaking it down. But just little subtle, things like that just kept our staff occupied and working, and the work ethic was what he really taught me. And he always said this too. I want everyone to know this. He always says, I'm a better math teacher than I am a football coach. I keep going in these Hall of Fames and everything, but Jack was an engineer by trade, and what a fantastic math teacher. I know we got players out there. When we would be meeting in the coach's room, he would have 4, 5, 6 kids with their notebooks out in the players' locker room doing formulas off the board that he had there. Because he also came on board as a math teacher at St. Mary's.
Nice, that's awesome. Crazy. Nice, very nice. Well, we have our first
surprise guest for Coach.
Yes, for Coach.
Okay, let's bring him in.
Bring him in. I'll let you do the introductions.
I'll wait till he gets settled in.
Yep. Okay.
Here he comes.
Coming in.
And here's our first guest, none other than the 2006 starting quarterback on the state championship team, Mr. Lewis Saunders. Lou, thank you for joining us tonight.
Can you hear us okay? It looks like he might be. Is he frozen?
Not sure.
Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, there he
There's
is.
Lou.
Oh, he
left.
He left. Let me see if
he'll come back in.
Oh, here he is.
Lou, what's going on?
What's up?
There he is. There he is. You're on with Coach Sheridan live. Thank you for joining us tonight.
How you doing, Lou?
What's up?
Sorry,
Sorry,
So, Lou, we got a couple questions for you.
Oh, I think we've.
Lou, you might just have to lower your volume a little bit. Again, Lou is the starting quarterback on the 2006 state championship team, so we wanted to bring him on for Coach Sheridan. And Jen, you can go ahead and start.
First question. Lewis, can you hear me okay?
you went out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, we're here to recognize the career of Coach Sheridan and the St. Mary football program. So I was wondering if you could start by just telling us about the influence Coach Sheridan and St. Mary football had on you. Oh, I'm not sure.
We're having a little problem with Lou.
Yeah.
Lou might have to text me the interview.
I got it.
Oh, okay, here he goes.
we
There he
go.
is.
All right. Perfect. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I'll
I hear
repeat.
you.
Okay, I'll repeat my question for you. Thank you for joining us. We're recognizing your coach, Coach Sheridan, and the St. Mary football program. So, Lewis, I was hoping you could start by telling us about the influence Coach Sheridan and St. Mary's football had on you.
Coach Sheridan is the man. Coach Sheridan, to put it in a nutshell, all in all, is like another father to me and many others. You know, I lost my father when I was 16 years old during my time with Coach Sheridan. It was just the time he puts in, the effort, the things he teaches you on and off the field, family, everything about it. I mean, St. Mary's probably saved my life. I can't say enough about St. Mary's. Who knows where I would have been if I didn't go to St. Mary's High School and I would have stayed around. I can't. Endless the amount of thanks and gratefulness that I have for that man is
No, and that's awesome.
Yeah, so
other than
nice.
that, playing football was, I mean, the best.
Absolutely. And Coach, I'll go to you. Obviously, 2006 always has to be special to you. You got your first deserved state championship. What would you like to tell any present and future St. Mary players about this special 2006 team, but along with our starting quarterback on that team, Lou Saunders?
One thing that comes to my mind, Kurt, and Lewis, I remembered Lewis coming down to a summer practice. I think it was Donald Lee who brought him down there when he was a young whippersnapper. And I said, this guy is unbelievable. He was just one of the little younger guys that he could compete with the older guys right away. But what changed our program, I think, in those 2 years, we're talking 05 and 06, Kurt, was Louis Saunders. Because I remember we in his junior year, I think we had it all screwed up. We had Louis was working as a quarterback and a linebacker, and I'm saying, there's something wrong here. And Damon Murchison was running up and down the field as a tailback. I think he had 250 yards rushing that opening game, junior year. And Lou's in my ear on the sideline, and then he said, Coach, we got to be doing this. We got to open this up. We got to try this. I was just like, hey, I was in the phones to Jack Jones and saying, we got this screwed up. Get this guy on the field and get him out of my ear. So I remember that night I had a conference call with Ahmad, Damon's dad, and Coach Jones, and I said, we're making a move. Something's not right here. And we had Donald Lee at one receiver. I said, Damon Murchison's going to be a college Division I receiver. Put him out there, and let's put Richmond from quarterback to tailback. He's going to be a one-day guy too. and get this Saunders guy who knows more about what we're talking about in the phones. Get him on a quarterback, for God's sake. And we made that move. And I don't know about you, but I think we might have been a stronger team that junior year.
No question. Hands down. That was the best team I ever played on my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost the hard.
We just put the puzzle pieces better together our senior year. But that junior year team was unique.
Yeah, we were deeper, I think, and just
Real quick, Anne-Marie Sheridan is saying, Lewis, you were the best. So she's giving you a shout out.
Lewis, real quick thank you again for coming on. It's so nice to have you reflect on the 2006 championship season. But before you leave, would you maybe touch on, we talk about all the time on the show, and Coach Sheridan, you touched upon it a little bit as well, that it's so much more than the W's, right? It's the life lessons that the student athletes carry with them. So, Lewis, hopefully we have some prospective student athletes watching today. What would you say are the lessons you learned from St. Mary football that have helped you in your adult life?
The iron sharpens iron as man sharpens man. It stuck with me for always. Coach Jack Jones told me that. But everything as a kid, I thought they said was nuts and insane, and it didn't click. But now I coach. I have my own baseball teams that I coach, and I use lethargic. I use everything he taught me. I use the words he used. I use the vocabulary. I use the way he comes about it, the way to talk to different people. Also, you have to understand that there's so many different minds, even on one team, right? So as players, you think coaches are only doing one thing, just coaching a football team. They're putting out fires. They're dealing with school. They're dealing with this. They're dealing with that. And then they have their own lives at home that they have to deal with as well. You know what I mean? So they have just so much happening. And if it was just an understanding and knowledge of what your coaches do and how much they truly care, because a lot of these guys don't get paid a lot or enough for what they do for the high school kids, you know what I mean? And some of them they'll be with me forever, so it just, they need to get their flowers, as people say, you know what I mean, nowadays, and they don't get enough. You too, Kurt, by the way, because you wouldn't pass the football without you.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you.
Straight up.
There we go, right here, baby. Here's the ring, baby. There it is. But no, thank you, Lou. I mean, again, anything, if you, we really appreciate you coming on. If there's anything, last words you want to talk about St. Mary's real quick, anything about Coach Sheridan before you go. But again, I want to give a shout out and thank you for coming on. But you got the floor for another minute, Lou.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Other than that, go to St. Mary's, spread love, be good people, play sports. That's it. Other than that, that's it. I'm a dad, I'm a coach now, so that's the life.
That's it.
Very nice.
Thank you, Lou. We appreciate you coming on, Lou.
Thank you.
Anytime, guys.
Thank you.
Anything for you guys.
You got it.
Have a
Thank
good night.
you.
Love you. Love you, Coach.
There you go.
Oh, so nice. Coach, that's got to be, I'm actually a little emotional right now. That's got to be one of those, this is off script, one of those rewarding things as a coach, when you see, I'm Facebook friends with my former players, I see them here and there, and to see, them in their adult lives and taking what they learned on the field, I mean, that's the rewards, that's what it's all about, that must make you feel so good.
I will tell you the quick story on Lou. He is St. Mary's through and through. He had a tough time there, but boy, he is loyal to us. And my daughter was in line for a restaurant tab, I don't know, probably a nightclub. And out of nowhere comes this guy, hey Sheridan, what are you doing over here? And brings her in and takes care of her and her friends, and looked out for her for the whole evening, and made sure that they just had a good time. And it was Lou Saunders looking out, and always looking out for St. Mary's people like he did. Never forget him for that.
Very nice. So, Coach, before Lewis
Let me
came
just read
in,
one more
yeah,
comment.
go
I got
ahead.
one more comment. I don't want to lose it from a Joe O'Connor saying that your dedication is second to none.
Nice, very nice. And Coach, before we chatted with Lewis, you had talked about Coach Jack Jones, and now as you said, he had that was kind of the turning point. So now you guys have established like a dominant program. You've got league titles, playoff wins, state championship appearances. So how did it feel to come so far?
It was always, it was extra special. I have to tell you, throughout those times there was, there were issues that, like I said, off the field stuff that behind the scenes really made big impacts on our program. And one is staring at me, and I have to bring it up. We were undefeated in 99 season, and we were just on a roll for the whole season. But my sister was suffering from a disease called scleroderma, and it's just a hardening of the internal organs. It's a terrible disease, and it got so bad that she needed a kidney transplant. And so, of course, we all got tested, and I was fortunate enough to be a match. And before that game, it was that week of going into the state playoffs, that I went in on Tuesday and donated the kidney, and came back for the game. Unfortunately, we didn't win the game, but I think it brought our whole community, our school, our football program, and the message was really done well in the record. It was about the victory of the human spirit, and that let's not get caught up in the football end of things and ignore what's going on in our lives. And my sister lived quite some time at that. Watched her son, who was on that team, go to Boston College on a football scholarship and play Division I football. So that was something that just jumped out, and things like that, not just with me but other players going through things that just brought us so close as a school, as a community, and that's what St. Mary's has always been about. So that has to be intertwined in there, Jen, as far as, as we're on a roll in a program, we're still dealing, like Louis said, we're dealing with issues that people probably didn't know about. They just see us winning and stuff, and then that's, that was special lessons, I think.
All right, so you're on a roll. You're saying that St. Mary's on a roll, but we're going to hold off on 2006 because we're going to bring in another special guest for Coach Sheridan real quick.
We've got, which...
Yeah, we'll bring in the top one. Let's bring in the top
All
one.
right. Another secret special guest.
Well,
for
it's a secret. Coach will... another phone call I had to handle before the show, but that's okay. And here he is.
All right.
Coach Martin, former player and former coach, assistant coach with Coach Sheridan, Coach Martin Basterchi, has joined us. Thank you, Martin, for joining us tonight on short notice.
Oh, we can't. You know what? I don't hear his volume.
Do you have your volume up, Martin? I'll tell you one thing, Coach Sheridan. We gotta get technology classes with the St. Mary people. I'll run them if you want me to run them. Can you hear us, Martin? I don't hear his volume.
Yeah, and he is not...
But while we're waiting on Martin to get his volume, Coach, if you want to just mention about, you had Martin obviously as a player and as a coach. If you want to talk a little bit about Martin before we get his volume going, Coach.
Just a great, dedicated player, talented. At St. Mary's, I've got to say, you are really encouraged to play 2 or 3 sports. Martin played Schoo, and then I took over the track program, and I got Martin out for track. And man, was he was a fantastic hurdler. That's what opened up recruiters' eyes, is watching his times going over hurdles in his sophomore and junior year. He was a tough guy, tough player, linebacker, fullback, run through walls, but he could run. And as everyone knows that's played this game and been involved in placing kids in college, that's the $1,000,000 question. Can he run enough on a college to get on a college field? You have to be able to run, and he could do that. That's why he went to the University of Delaware on a full scholarship and had a great career.
Nice.
Coach Bisturci, do you hear us?
I can hear you now.
All right,
Okay,
there it
awesome,
is. There it
awesome.
is. So thank
I
you.
figured it out.
All right, there we go. So thank you. So again, we want, we're doing the show tonight. Coach Sheridan, we want to, just go through his, iconic career, but also, go over the St. Mary's football program and St. Mary's in general. So, like we said, you were obviously a student there. Then you came back and coached, became defensive coordinator. So, I guess the first question is, what was it like playing for Coach Sheridan? We just had Louis Saunders on before you. But we'll ask you, what was it like, and what did you learn from Coach Sheridan on and off the field as a player?
I mean, for me, it was a great experience because I had limited knowledge of football. I mean, when I came to St. Mary's, it was my second year playing football, and I was a sponge. And, learning from guys like Coach Sheridan, Coach Jones, everyone else on the staff was great. And willing to work with you. I think that's the difference between St. Mary's and maybe some other schools. I mean, they took a kid who had no knowledge of football and they turned him into a good player. I mean, that was I think that's part of the building block of our programs. We would take kids and say, we're going to make you into a football player as a coach. That's what he taught us. And I think that's what he taught me too, as a player. I mean, he had the belief and the confidence in me to put me out there on the field, as a sophomore and play, and have success. And that was a big step for me. And I can never thank Coach enough. I mean, he's been there for a long time, and he's family. We've coached together. He's coached me in 15 years of and plus of being together and knowing each other. So it's been a great experience.
Martin, how was it? Kind of a two-part question. How rewarding is it to then go back and coach not only at your high school but with Coach Sheridan, and at the same time, how is it going from player to colleague?
It was a great experience. I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. I was able to come back to a place that I called home and give back like all the other coaches did for me, and teach some of the young men how to play the game, and also learn from the best. Between Coach Sheridan and Coach Jones, like they were saying, the work ethic, you don't realize the time that coaches put in. You may see the time on the field, but it's the time off the field, away from their families, meetings, film. But that was a work ethic that we've had, and it was expected and enjoyed, because you wanted to be prepared. You wanted to give your best for each other as coaches, and also for the players and the families. So we want to put a good product out there and establish some winning teams and work hard and have fun and teach the game well. So
Nice.
And I have one more for Coach Bisturci. Like you were saying, more in the football aspect, but obviously you worked at St. Mary's. You were always around it. What would you just say to the audience watching about St. Mary's, not even football, just the school in general?
School in general is family oriented. It's a tradition of families, like Coach said. His entire family went through that building. I mean, I had two sisters that were in the building at the same time I was there. Everyone that I went to school with, the majority of them, I'm still close friends to. I mean, it's not just the same grade or anything like that. It's throughout the generations of meeting people and alumni and staying connected. So I think that's a big difference. Is it's not the brick and mortar. It's the people you meet, people that are always there for you. and that's why you go back there and it's home. So.
Very nice. I sense such a I keep hearing family and tradition. It's so nice. It's just it's such, like you said, the bigger picture of sports. And
Any last things for Coach Sheridan, Martin, before you go? And again, thank you so much on a short notice to coming on for coming on.
Like I said, I don't do anything for Coach. He knows that. I'm a phone call away. I love him. He's a great coach. He's done so much for me, and my family loves him. My parents always ask about him, and I wish him well. He's a great coach and deserves all the accolades and everything that comes with it. I mean, wouldn't change my experience with him for the world. So,
nice.
All right.
Great man, great guy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you so much for coming on. Nice to meet you.
But can I just say
Oh, sure, absolutely, Coach.
the guy is just first class. First of all, he's just a hard worker. He did all the film breakdown. He was our D coordinator, and he did all that film breaking down in all those years. But let me say that a guy like Mark Basturci goes and, he goes on to Delaware University and plays linebacker there. Now he walks out on a football field as a coach for St. Mary's. You're one of those players we're trying to develop, and Mark Basturci comes over to work with you and has the patience to teach you the game, because he was taught the game. As he said, he didn't know the game of football. So he is back, like he said. But that kid goes home and he says, guess who was working with me today? Martin Basturci, who played at the University of Delaware. And that's how, parents feel good, the kids feel good, everybody in the whole the whole community. It's a bond. It's a bond that will never break.
No.
There you go.
Awesome. Very nice. Thanks again, Martin.
Coach Basturci, thank you again. And
Anytime, guys.
Thanks, Martin.
you got it.
Take care, Coach. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Martin.
All right, bye-bye.
Coach, another comment from a Brian Smith saying, great coach, great player, St. Mary's family is the best.
All right, we have another guest.
Yeah, we got another guest coming in for
Keep
you.
rolling in, Coach Sheridan. So let me get. All right, let me get the next one in. All right.
Here's the next one for you, Coach Sheridan. No explanation needed. The one and the only Mr. Damone Murkison. How are you, Damone? He's getting his volume up.
Oh, we can't hear.
We can't hear him.
Yeah.
Damone, if you could just check your volume.
Seems to be the comment.
There he is. I think he's back.
I think we're in.
How are you, Damone?
I'm doing good. I was just actually talking to my dad. He's waiting in the room as well.
Oh yeah, we're waiting for it. We might not. The show might not end once we get him on. It's just he might stay on the whole time.
I'm going to end. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to turn out.
But no explanation needed. Mr. Damone Murkison, number 9, St. Mary's, went on to play at Syracuse University. Thank you so much for coming on at a late. I know I messaged you very late. Quick decision you came on, but thank you very much for coming on. And again, same thing. What we wanted to do. Obviously, we're paying homage to the great Coach Sheridan coaching career, and we just want to talk about St. Mary's in general. So, your 4 years at St. Mary's. What was it like at St. Mary's, and what was it like to be to play under Coach Sheridan?
So my 4 years at St. Mary's was definitely I had a lot of growth there for sure. It was a overall transformative experience. I definitely a sense of tight knit community and a family atmosphere. I think you coming from Passaic, New Jersey, and into a small Catholic school in Rutherford, it was like very very different. Generally, right? I think there's some social economic things that go on, as well as just the ins and outs of being in a Catholic education, right? I had not attended Catholic school at any point in my life, so there were customs, practices, things that are consistent. It was some peacefulness to structure in a way where you kind of know what you should be doing. And everybody at St. Mary's went to St. Mary's Elementary School for the most part. So you just felt again that sense of a community from a small classroom standpoint. So right from the get, I couldn't hide. So that's one thing I was very clear about St. Mary's. Experience from athletics to just in the classroom. There's no hiding. People know who you are, and whether you want it or not, you're going to get supported, right? So, for a guy like me, coming from bigger schools and larger places, it was a nice switch that I think it helped me develop. And then fast forward, we get to football, right? We get to the sports, and you have expectations of what you hear about the great, St. Mary's from the state. St. Mary's at that time was looked at as a place that there were questions about the competitiveness, about what the leagues, right? I mean, if I'm being honest, like, well, how good were they because of the leagues that were in? But you knew they were good, right? So it's kind of trying to figure out, is it the league that's not good? Is the football, is the actual school still good, even if the league isn't a Group 4? And you get to practice and know it's sharp, man. I mean, we may have not had the numbers, but right from the get-go, the operations was very much similar to what I experienced in college at some point, where everything was running sharp from head to toe. And Coach Sheridan really had. You can tell he had respect amongst his staff. You can tell everyone really appreciated what they do. I had experienced some of that at Passaic, but not at all times. So, and not with every single coach. Whereas it was very clear what the standard was, and it was going to be emulated from freshman to varsity. Where I probably was not knowing it better than some of the varsity players, but at no point did I feel like that, because the hierarchy was there regardless. Eddie Dolan is a guy who used to constantly bother me and pick on me, and it was because I was fast and I was good and stuff. But it was, like I said, man, the culture was very clearly set there. And I remember there was one game I was doing all right, and Coach Sheridan put me in. It might have been against Haslam Heights or somebody like that when we used to play them. And it was at the end of the game. We were beating them, we were killing them. And I had a little run, and I didn't score, but I ran pretty far. I got pretty far, a little toss, and it was cool to see the upperclassmen who were terrorizing us throughout the really come together and be cheer, because again at that point we were fiercely competitive and fiercely about you play who's in front of you, and you beat them to the best of your ability, regardless of the talent, which is why I think those teams were, regardless of what group or what level we're in, we could compete, and it was it was a you felt the coach, you felt the expectation, seeing Coach Sheridan scream and do the Ave. I remember the first time I saw that, actually. The Ave was, I still don't understand it. But it gets me fired up. Just thinking about it, man. You think about those little traditions, and from hitting to play like a champion, at the end of the game. I mean, those are things you never forget, man. And as you try to pursue to get to the next level and play at different levels of sport, sport becomes a lot less about play and competing and more about business. Every level you get up is very business. I mean, some places, high school is business, right? I mean, you have a podcast, right? We're talking about athletics, and this is the industry has become that way, right?
Yep.
At St. Mary's, it felt more about tradition, right? Competing. And I mean, community and faith. Those are things I carry with me at my core, and was definitely attributed to the success because of the humility I had going into things. Right, I didn't go into Syracuse thinking I'm going to be the star. I went into Syracuse wanting to compete, and then everything else fell into line after that.
Coach, I keep hearing the tradition, family, community. It's just so, again, just the everything you hope that your players would take away. So, would you like to speak, a little bit about Damon's time at St. Mary and what he meant to the team?
There's so many levels that you could point it to Damon Merkerson and say, over here, look what he did in adjusting coming from the Shape Middle School to this small Catholic school, as he touched on. I'll just end it with this. By the time he was a senior, his classmates voted him to give the graduation speech, the valedictorian speech. That's how much the community opened up its doors, even if they went to school and grammar school here, and embraced Damon. He earned that. He was a character. I remember, hey, you talk about my Alveda. How about your imitation of Dr. Bob?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He did a great imitation of our principal. England and everything. This guy he would open up everybody, get everybody laughing. And the last thing I'm going to touch on, Damon, is this. I'm going to brag about Jack Jones took Damon under his wing as a math teacher and took Damon from struggling in math to, if I'm not mistaken, Damon, were you not the president of the Math Honor Society?
Yep. That was
That's
Math
awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And check this out, you guys. Graduated from Syracuse with his undergraduate degree while playing Division I football in 3 years.
Wow.
Yes. How about that?
Yeah.
Talk
Awesome.
about the transformation as a student and as a well-rounded young man. All this while, not just football, okay, track, 4 gold medals in the state championship. You need 4 gold medals.
Wow.
Starter on the basketball team, starting guard on the basketball team.
That's awesome.
This guy, you can point to so many things. He just blossomed and then took off, both as a young man, student, athlete.
Awesome.
great.
My last thing for Damon, real quick, for anybody watching, what would you, any student ever comes up to you, seventh grader, 8th grader, say, what do you have to say about St. Mary's and why should I go to St. Mary's? What would you tell that kid?
I would say at St. Mary's, you're going to get the complete development. Again, in a very consumer base and wanting to be the best athlete you can be, you miss a tremendous amount of development in which people flake out when they get to this level. Again, I don't know if you talked about what I do, but I work at UMass as an associate athletic director.
Yes, congratulations on that.
Yeah. So I in the last 7 to 10 years, I've had specifically with football, I've had a very close eye on what athletes do well when they get to this level, athletes struggle. And what I can tell you from a St. Mary's standpoint, you will get a well-rounded, complete development, which will prepare you, which will prepare you for the highest level of athletics, and honestly, the highest level of success in life, whatever it is that you're going. And you really get the best of all worlds, and that holistic development, or student or formative development is something that's going to last your lifetime, and St. Mary's definitely provides you that one-on-one opportunity while still being able to get to the big times, and it's really invaluable.
That's great.
No, awesome.
Yeah.
Damon, thank you so much for coming on. You were obviously a great player, great kid. Like Coach Sheridan always says, it was an honor to be able to coach you. I know I speak for myself, and I know Coach Sheridan, obviously, I 1 year with you, but it was a great year, and it was an honor to coach you. And thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Kurt. Game.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Damon.
Bye, Coach.
Okay, we're gonna do, Coach. Let's do this, Coach. We got another person in the waiting room. We're gonna hold off on him.
Let me just say this,
Oh,
Kirk.
absolutely.
We may have another Damon Murkiston in the works here because Damon's younger brother Damien is enrolled at St. Mary's as a freshman.
Oh, get out. Nice. Nice.
This is like we're talking about the future. I hope that some of our current players, I'm sure they're going to be tuning in. Because I told Coach Gentile we're going to be on, and I want them to learn what our school and our program has been like over the years. And we got the great future. I'm telling you, I think we've got 10 or 12 freshmen football players. And that's a great number. If we can keep it up there at 12 and 15 each year, we're going to get this ship straightened out, and we're going to get right back to where we're talking about tonight. So
Awesome.
Nice.
out there, keep working hard, man. We're going to get there.
Awesome. So we get to, like Jen left off before we get to our next guest. Let's talk the 2006 season. Like Jen said, you mentioned knocking on the door. Lou was talking about 2005 season, lost a heartbreaker to Patterson Catholic. Now you get into the 2006 season. And a real question, I mean, listen, like you said, we could probably talk about this for 4 hours if we really want. But a quick recap of that season and what it finally meant to get over the hump and to get the rings, to get Patterson Catholic that Friday night at William Patterson game, we'll never forget. Just real quick, that season in a nutshell for you.
The season in a nutshell is similar to what I had spoken about earlier about, you're going to have some ups and downs. Because if you recall, Kurt, we lost that opener to
Sea Caucus.
But we had some new parts in there. We had a new defensive back in there. We had a new kick returner, punt returner. And those factors, it's a growing curve to it. There's a learning curve. And sometimes you're going to make some mistakes. So I didn't get discouraged. I just felt like it was going to be a matter of time before we hit it in stride, get our stride going. And I felt like that happened, a couple of times. There were some big wins, but players stepped up that, we kind of like they were new in the spot. So we kind of being patient with them to mature. And when they started making plays, that's when we knew it. I mean, the interception in the end zone by Bigelow, stopping a run, stopping there from scoring. Had the new parts with our man Whitlock and Goods up there. But that's when I knew we had them, boy. When those guys started playing and they started smiling and they started enjoying it, things like Damon mentioned, I just knew it was going to happen.
And Coach, that night, I mean, we could talk about Damon's catches, unbelievable. Lou, and like you're saying, the defense with the plays. I mean, just so many people stepped up in that game, and against a great Patterson Catholic team. I mean, it was a phenomenal team, and I mean, I just remember being up in the booth, and it was like, oh my, just run this clock, just get this, like, that last drive when they had the ball, it's like, oh my God, like, just hold on one time, and it was just an amazing feeling. I mean, amazing feeling.
It really was. Stephen DeLees had a great game. Silva. I'm just throwing some names out there, guys. Our guys up front. I mean, we ran the ball.
Yeah.
We ran the ball as well. You made the great call, Kurt, and we hit the big one over the top. Louis dropped a dime in there, and what a great catch by Damon. But, in between, we were running the football successfully.
We did. Coach, they don't call that penalty. We might run that clock out.
Yes.
They call that penalty on us, yeah.
And listen, I think Coach Mike Coyne did a hell of a job with that defense, too. If you remember taking the safety down.
Yep.
Getting involved in the run game more to stop their great. They were just explosive. Watching film on them, it's like, 440 relay team up and down the field.
I gotta ask you one question about this. You're like when that clock struck 0. Like, what was just going through your mind?
I got to be honest with you. I was sure the game was over. I was kind of like stunned. It was kind of a funky ending there in that, they didn't manage the clock real well there at the end, but I wasn't even sure the game was completed. I was too busy praying to my sister and my dad and my mom, just saying prayers that we could get out of here with this W. And when it happened, it was just euphoric. It was unbelievable. Great experience.
I'm sure.
That's it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Want to bring in our?
Yeah, we're going to bring in one more guest who obviously was a part of that 2006 season. We are bringing him in. And here he is, Coach Sheridan, the one, the only Coach Ahmad Field. And before I go over, Hall of Fame from Passaic High School, Hall of Fame from Montclair State University. He gave me a list of like 40 things to put him in the Hall of Fame. I don't have enough time tonight. But he's a Hall of Famer.
You don't need that. You don't need that. As long as you know for the record what the deal is.
We always know what it is.
Dale Pride, baby. Dale Pride.
Coach Field, tonight we have on our podcast, on our video podcast, the one and the only iconic Coach Sheridan, St. Mary's. You coached with him. We have a two-part question for you. Number one was, obviously, we had Damone on, great player, great student. What made you the ultimate decision to put him in St. Mary's?
I don't know if anyone knows this. I'm going to give you one way back. About 25 years ago, probably about that. At the time, I think I was playing for the New Jersey Red Sox. And Mike and I go back a long way. And we would just get the program back, bringing it back to life. And it was storming outside. And lightning was going on. And he's not coaching anymore now, so I can say this. A little lightning didn't fear us at all. It keep us away. So I went on and worked with the receivers for about an hour and a half. And for him staying in the drenching rain with me at that time of my life, going over everything you can possibly think about as a receiver, tight end, and defensive back position. He was my hero from that point on. And then went on to talk about St. Mary's pride and academia. So for me, with everything that was going on, different transitions at Passaic at the time, Mike being a friend and someone who valued academia, Damon's choice was based upon academics first and everything else, the character of Coach Sheridan is second.
Awesome. And Coach Field, coaching with Coach Sheridan, what we can all talk about this again all night too, but what really stood out, and because it was so much fun, what always stood out from you from coaching with Coach Sheridan?
Well, one, Coach Sheridan was really equally lit. He really had a pulse and was really confident in what he knew, and he wanted to do anything that was going to make this football team better. As I said, I'll be remiss if I don't still say starting off with academic and attitude that leads to the field. And for the simple fact that we won the title with him listening to you every freaking day was an attest to his character alone. Because both of us together was a combination that probably won't be put together again unless you come out of retirement and man up.
Go ahead, Jed.
I guess, in all seriousness, him being able to listen, he's very accomplished, and a lot of times I've been through a lot of different coaches in my life, and his demeanor, his approach, his genuineness, and his fierce competitiveness is what in the classroom and on the field. Greatest attribute. And listening to you. So come on, you what? Don't do something for it, Kurt.
No, not at all.
Hey, touchdown play, baby. You know it by heart. Give it to me, Kurt.
It was wham, stretch option pass 80 to number 9, baby. That was it. Lights out. The rest is history. Go ahead, Jen.
Well, you took my
Oh,
question.
I took your question?
Kurt's all over the board right now.
I am. I'm fired up tonight. I'm fired up.
We do an agenda. We do an agenda, and then then it goes out the window. Yeah.
Coach Field, it's our anniversary tonight. What are we doing? We got Coach Sheridan on a podcast tonight, so that's how we roll.
And I want to give her great props for dealing with you.
You know what? I like you already.
I understand you have no idea. While this raised with this guy, people don't see it, but I had to live with it.
You know what? Only people know him well. They share that sentiment. So,
Stop. So, Coach Sheridan, real quick, Coach Field, what's your, again, you working with them, like you said, way back when, dealing with them as not only as a coach, but as a parent in your program. Anything for Coach Field from you, Coach Sheridan?
Oh my goodness! But yeah, where do you start?
Again, this could be its own show.
I'm telling you, he could do it standing on his head, man. He is a great man. He's got all the priorities straight. He's got just a great way of relating. Well, I used to just love it when he come down and give one of those clinics. I mean, he could give it getting off a jam, running routes. I mean, how much fun did we have just watching him coach up our guys and give it to them. Then don't forget the locker room after, and when we would go to go to have a bite to eat, and the one night, because Ahmad was such a great dresser, but he would leave all this piece of suits and stuff in his locker. So one night we had that meeting at the restaurant, and each one of us put on a different part of his wardrobe that he left behind. So when he walked in, he saw a piece of clothing of his on each one of us coaches. And just fun stuff like that. I'll never forget.
Anything, Jen, for Coach Field?
No, again, Coach Sheridan, I see the relationship you had not just with your players but with your coaching staff, and I just see it filters down. You set that tone with your staff and to the players, and it's so evident. It's just so nice to see. This is one of the reasons we just love doing this show.
Great. I love being on. It was great reconnecting with people, and again, I'm humbled to have been asked to be on the show. So you guys do a great job, and continued luck and success throughout the rest of the way with this show and this series. And you just won over a guy to be watching.
There you go. Coach Field, final thoughts from you, Coach Field, tonight.
I respect you, like what you're doing, and I know you have great material. I don't think you're a better person than Coach Sheridan, who's been popping. And let me tell you, you still got the M2. He's pseudo retired. This guy's still getting after.
Absolutely. Coach Field, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Coach Field, thank you so much. Stay in touch, Coach Field. We'll work with you soon.
No problem, big guy. Take a number. but of course, you're VIP, Kurt, if you're up in that the Patterson, remember that big story?
Oh yeah.
Story you guys go to bed tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, Coach Field.
Thank you.
Coach Sheridan, do you have a couple more minutes for us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Before we do our rapid fire with Coach, I know if I'm not mistaken, you have like a new part of your athletic facility there, right? You've had so many impressive student athletes inducted into the St. Mary's Hall of Fame, and you have an area that honors those players and some past championship teams. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. If we got a couple of minutes, a lot of the guys that I spoke about, we've talked about and we've talked with are in that room, and a lot of the traditional stuff. So I'm glad to take you on a quick little tour there if you got a couple.
Okay, do you want to do rapid first, or do you want to do this one first? Which one should we do? We'll do the Hall of Fame. We're going to do that. We're going to go to a quick commercial. Kenny's asking, is there no rapid fire? Of course there's rapid fire. Of course. We're just going a little overtime. So we will be right back. We're going to do a little... We'll do our promo with our commercial, and while Coach Sheridan gets set up, we will be right back.
Doing flat bench, 6 reps of 185 pounds. First time in my life I've ever done it. I had to get some spotting for my wife, but it's all good. I want to say thank you to gym guys, specifically to Leroy Huggins, to Ryan, to Giovanna.
Okay, we are back. We are in the... Coach Sheridan, take it over and tell us where we are.
Okay, we're in the Hall of Fame room. We just built $1 million extension on the front of our gymnasium so we could house some of the traditions of our different programs. And right now we have our football displays up. So other guys we've talked about, I can show you here. Start with these two guys who went out to Notre Dame. Right in the beginning of the school here, 1935 and 1933. John Kelly ended up being a captain in Notre Dame. Went out there with my dad. We go over here. Up top, two great players. Tom Holden played at the Naval Academy. His quarterback was Roger Staubach. Joe Frantangelo was called the best nose tackle in the country by Lee Hayes. Okay. Brother Phil Sheridan went on to captain Notre Dame as well. Two captains out of St. Mary's at Notre Dame. Bob DeMarco, NFLer. Okay. Him along with Stan Walters. On to play pro ball for years. Stan wasn't all.
Oh, did we lose?
Did we lose Coach?
I think we did. I don't know if he can hear us.
Coach Sheridan, I'm not sure if we lost you. Okay, yeah, we hear him.
Oh, back. Okay. Great.
Can you?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hear me?
Yeah, we just lost you a little bit, but we're back.
Okay, you got two big guys here. We got Andrew Elford and Mike Schmetting. Andrew, Ohio State. Mike Schmetting, Michigan State. Got LeVar Starr, went out and played at Hofstra. Josh Richmond, the two Passaic guys. Josh went out and played. He also played at Akron. Okay, I mentioned Jim Varsity before. Okay, Boston College scholarship. There's our man Martin Basterci. There's our man Damon Merkerson at Syracuse University. And there's the state championship team, Kurt.
There it is.
See that?
Yeah, they are. Yes, sir. I think we're losing Coach when he goes to that one more.
Yeah.
We lost Brian Crockett, unfortunately, in early death. But Brian was a great story, had a great career. From Joe O'Connor. This is his son, Jimmy O'Connor, Charleston Southern, Jeremy Thomas, Ewan Armstrong, great player for his and at the University of New Hampshire. Wild man, Ron Simone, Rutgers University. Great snapshot of our tradition. Give you a couple more here. Sal Buscema was one of those guys. He was the main guy that came over from Paul VI, so the great rear hot. Bill Tiberzi, Holy Cross. Jeff Jones, one of our most talented runners, All State, 05. Okay, great rear. All right. That kind of gives you an insight into that. Some of the guys we talked about, some of the traditions that our kids need to go out there.
That's so impressive.
Upstairs, Kirk?
Yes, sir. I'm going to cut right back to a quick break while Coach heads back upstairs.
Okay.
All right, Coach Sheridan is back in the office.
After being tour guide, that was just so impressive, Coach Sheridan. The tradition and the history and where players over the years have gone to play. It's just such a credit to your program. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's no need for student athletes from this area to have to travel to find a great school, and we've done it before. We put people in the biggest schools in the country. We can do it. You can get it right here. No need to go anywhere.
Absolutely.
Coach, real quick, couple comments from a Kyle Kaminsky. Mr. Sheridan is a great man. He always has a great relationships with students in the hallways. And then a Frank Bacchiel, great coach and great guy.
Frankie Bakil.
Oh, Bacchiel, sorry about that.
Great player for us.
Oh, nice.
All right, so we got one more segment, Jen. Tell them what this is.
We're going to roll into, we gave you a little heads up about a little rapid fire. We call them they're a little more fast-paced, fun type of question. So,
all right, here we go, Coach Sheridan. What is the best, two-part question, what is the best pizza and where is the best sandwich you can get in Rutherford?
Pizza, hands down, Park Tavern. Park Tavern for the pizza. Sandwich-wise, used to be Ernie's Delicatessen right around the corner. We all got in trouble for sneaking out there all the time. But now I'd have to say it might go to Forest Area.
Okay.
All right, Coach, who would you say your biggest rival was in all your years coaching?
Well, the quick story is this. Cresskill High School beat us like 66-6 one year, that I wasn't able to go to the game because my daughter was born that day. And lo and behold, we came back and beat Cresskill when we got things going back to normal here. I would say that Coach Valley and the great job that he did at Cresskill, we had definitely a heated rival. I think, later on when the schedules changed a little bit, it became maybe the Heights, Astor Heights. The old years, it had to be Catholic schools now. The old years, it was Queen of Peace. But for my playing time and coaching time, it was it had to be Cresskill and Heights.
Got it.
Okay, give me, and I kind of gave, just so you know, when we were doing a test, I kind of gave Coach a little hint on this question. But name a college or a pro coach that your coaching style mirrored a little bit. I gave you this hint before, Coach. I gave you this hint.
Yeah, you did. But nothing comes to mind. I mean, they used to always accuse me of having a southern drawl, so maybe my man down in Clemson, I used to have some fun with that because I did enjoy the red man a little bit.
There you go. Okay, we'll take that.
All right, Coach, I got a two-parter for you. What was your biggest win?
Biggest win? I guess it had to be that we got that Patterson Catholic game finally. That probably was the biggest win. Having come so close and having some great games with them leading up to that for 2 years. That would have to be the biggest win, getting over the hump.
And then your toughest loss?
Man, there was a lot of there was a lot of tough ones. It has to be the one that stands out in my mind would have to be the Cresskill loss when we had to go up there in 06 and play them in the rain. 6-0 game, I think.
Yep.
I mean, we couldn't do anything on that field. I mean, it was just a mess. But felt like we had it going then, Kurt.
Yep. It was like a mud pit.
Yeah, it was unplayable.
Yep.
Hey, no excuses. That was the toughest.
Yep. Okay. Fun question. Coach is a big Notre Dame fan. We always used to bust chops with each other about Auburn and Notre Dame. So my question to you, in the next 20 years, will Notre Dame win a national title?
Well, it's just so hard this way the system is now. I gotta believe they're knocking on the door, Kurt. Anything can happen. I'll go with my heart and say yeah, they'll do it.
Okay.
Get lucky and get it done.
All right, Coach, you got a game. You're on the road. You're down 7. You score a touchdown with no time left on the clock. Are you going to kick the extra point and force overtime, or are you going for 2 and heading on the bus with the W?
Well, the rule is what? On the road,
Go for the win.
go for the W. Okay, at home,
Play for the tie.
go for the time. Right. So we're running Gale Sweep.
That
was the
my
second part
follow-up
question. What play are you running?
And what play are you running?
I gave her the answer before you even needed the question.
He said it was going to be that.
All right, this is going to be my favorite question of the whole night. I got 6 real quick. We're going to bang these out. You mentioned last night when you talked to us about play calls. And just watching you do it on some Fridays, me and Coach Lou would just sit there crying when we scripted it because we'd say, we got to see Coach Sheridan do it. So let's see. Well, we got a question for you, Coach Sheridan. Do you have a preference playing on grass or turf?
Oh, grass.
Okay. There you go.
Comments, question. All right.
All right, so here we go. Quick hitters. I'm going to say it. You got to give me the sign. What was Indy? Indy.
Indy. Car driving.
All right. This is my levels. Remember levels?
Levels. Sure.
There you go. Okay. Tampa.
Tampa. Right here.
There it is. See the hot. All right. This one, Coach. This was Coach Sheridan's favorite formation. Rick Wright.
Oh, Ric Flair. Woo.
No.
No?
I'll give you a hint. It was a singer.
Singer. Oh, Rick.
Rick Springfield used to do like the guitar real quick.
Oh,
That was the guitar.
what was the one with about like the one with Ric Flair? Woo.
Well, I don't remember what that one was. I got to go to the scripts. I got two more. Unbalanced trips.
Sure. Unbalanced trips.
Sometimes you used to tilt and do it though too. You gave a little tilt. Yeah, that's what you gave.
That was you guys playing with me there.
That was Coach Johnson. Paulie Johnson made you tip. And here's my last one. I'm going to do through the whole. Oh, Coach Masterchi is saying he wants to see naked.
Of course. When you guys get me on all the time. Give me the whole pulse.
All right, I'll go. Let's just go. Zone right, naked left.
Zone right.
There it is.
Oh, God.
There it is.
Too funny.
And then here's my last one. I gave you a hard one for my last one. You ready?
Yep.
Pro right,
Go right.
flip, zip,
Zip.
and then counter pass Becton for all our Becton fans that we beat them over the top with.
Counter.
Pass Becton. I remember Becton.
I don't know. Wildcat.
The Wildcat was like this. The Wildcat. That's it. That's it, right?
That was great, Coach.
That was good, Coach. You still got it. And it's so every Friday when I would say it to you, I would just laugh because Paterno and I would be like, "We're gonna get him." So here we go.
Coach, I feel so bad for you. I have two very, very quick rapids before we go. Coach, during your coaching time, who would you say your biggest fan was?
Biggest fan?
Yeah.
Oh, that had to be my wife. My wife, true story. My wife was on a film with one of the Watley brothers running down the sideline with a ball for touchdown, and my wife is wheeling my daughter Brielle in the baby carriage as fast as Watley's running. They wondered who I'm watching with a college coach, and the college goes, "Wow, you got some unbelievable fans. Look at that woman racing down with that kid." That's my wife.
That's great. That's
great.
And we heard so much about, your program and, of course, St. Mary's High School in general. So my last rapid for you is if you had to sum up the St. Mary's High School experience in one word to describe it, what would it be?
Got to be family. Got to be family. Once you join us, you don't leave us.
I think we all got a sense of that tonight as well.
You heard it through everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from, what community you come from. This community just opens up its arms and welcomes you and loves you to death, gets you ready for your next challenges, and then I'm on you about giving back because I'm the alumni director. You gotta write a check.
That's it. Get it in there.
That's great.
No, but Coach, this was awesome tonight. We went a little later. We went 34 minutes. This is kind of like how I remember coaching with you when you would say, Coach Valenti, you got 20 minutes of offense. 52 minutes later, we're still running offense. Just steal it from Bisturchi. Don't worry, he'll make it up later. Right? That's what it was. But no, Coach, it was awesome tonight, reminiscing, and
Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. It was an absolute pleasure.
we want to give you the final word. One more word from anything about, again, the program, the football program, the school. You got the final word.
Well, the final word I would say is this: if you're out there listening, you got testimony to what a great place this is, and that's why I've stuck here all year and stuck to it, and I just love the whole setup here, and I know our football program is down a little bit over the last 2 years, but as I said before, there's some great indicators that say we're going to do it again, and we started this program talking about how we were down when we first started, and we got it done. We had 25 years of the most successful times that followed those tough times. So you know what? Tough people step up during tough times, and we're gonna do it. Get it done. Coach Gentile's doing a great job, and so are these young men that are out there playing.
That's great.
That's
well,
it.
best of luck to them this season. And
We'll definitely catch up with them during the
absolutely.
season.
Absolutely.
But Coach, again, honor again coaching with you, working under you. It was awesome. Loved every minute of it. Thank you again so much for coming on our show tonight, and we got to do something again soon.
Definitely.
I love it, you guys. Thank you so much for thinking of me, and best of luck with the show.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Coach.